All right, good morning, traders. Today's August 14th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land, everybody. Special shout out to Kathy, Sarah, Roasted, Jim Jordan, John Jordan, Bob Jordan. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and posting my content. Love that. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for sharing the content. Thank you for the kind comments. Love that. Makes my day. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on my trading journey. All right. Let's go ahead and drill down here. Let's see what we did yesterday. Let's see what we're going to do today and how we're going to trade the index options today. All right, so again, today's the 14th, 2025. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you so much for being here. All right, my SPY pivot this morning, 644.35. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. QQQ, SPY, SMH, XLK all made new all-time highs yesterday. Yay, love that. IWM made a new rally high. SPY closed with 2-hour uptrend and 10-minute uptrend. FNGU, a diamond down, made higher lows and higher highs, closing over bullish traps and over their 17 EMAs. Silver still in an uptrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. Gold still in a daily downtrend, but not moving down, made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. USO still in a daily downtrend, made a lower low, lower high, closing under a bearish trap under a 17 EMA. UNG made an inside day. Keep in mind the day before they made a new all-time low, okay? Inside day is a lower high and a higher low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. US dollar index still in an uptrend, closed near the 97.70 area. SPY max pain for today, 642, with a put to call ratio of about 1 1/3 puts to each call that expires today. All right, let's look at what we got starred down here. Now, if you see something that's starred, it usually means it's constructing a launch pad. All right, or a grinder box. You can call it a launch pad, call it a grinder box, but we'll check it out where it's moving over to the right and starting to break out. Some of these have already commenced their breakout action. All right, so we'll look at COUR, TEL, teed up, and TER. We'll take a peek at those real quick. Put it on the daily chart, and let's start with COUR. Okay, you can see COUR starting to make it back up through. You can see we closed up over a little bit of resistance right there. All right, or a little bit of support that became resistance. So I like that. Core. Look for core to probably take out these highs right here, okay? Looking for core to take out all that above the bodies right up there, over 1267. We'll see. Here's the launch pad being constructed right through here. Okay, so there's our launch pad, and they're recovering it. And a lot of times price does this pullback where they draw back the bowstring before they let the arrow fly to the upside. All right, maybe it is the case today here in core, or this week here in core. We'll see what happens. What's the next one? TEL, right? TEL. Another one. Got the box right here. Okay, see them starting to break out. We're starting to break up, getting some higher lows here. All right, and you can see price starting to rise over these red candles over here to the left and starting to commence its breakout to the upsides. Take a look at TER. Carignan. All right, see Carignan already started the breakout. You can see here's the box again over the bodies right there. This was the candle the previous day. Here's the candle today, taking out that wick up top there. Carignan taking out the wick, having a little blast off. There's your launch pad. This is where price moves up. All right, and then over to the right and constructs that launch pad. Okay, price moves up, over to the right, and here we're getting the launch right there. Okay, that's Carignan. All right, let's take a look at one other one. I said teed up. That's the next one. Teed up. Teed up. Like that one. All right, got a grinder box right through here. All right, and price is coming back up. Notice price closed on top of these wicks up there. So price breaking out right there. Looking for price to take out this high right here and beyond. All right, again, a move up and over to the right. Okay, so move up. Love it when they move up and they hold that higher ground. See, it's a move up and a hold. Love that. Okay, next move, typically not guaranteed, is up that way. We'll see what happens. Okay, so there's teed up, like this higher low from the day before. Nice one there, teed up on core, and you saw that Carignan already taken off there. All right, that's it. That was on the bulls and bears. Okay, and let me find the bulls and bears one more time. And over here, okay, so all these are in in WDC. Let's take a peek at that. Yeah, I got the right one. Okay, you can see all these should be in an uptrend over the 17 EMA. All of these should be in downtrends under the 17 EMA. Some of them on here are kind of questionable. They're about to cross the 17, so be careful on those bears. Be picky about which one you want for a bear stock, because they're about to cross. There's a few in here that haven't crossed the 17, but they are coming. Let me just say they're making contact, all right, with the 17 over here on the bearish side. Let's take a look at WDC, and then we'll drill down into the market. WDC. Oh, yeah, nice grinder box there. Okay. Again, kind of want to see this get up over the bodies of these candles. But I'm looking at a lower high and a higher low and a higher low and a higher low and a higher low. Usually, price can take off from there. This is nice. I like this one. I like that the idea that the flagpole or the launch pad is not like way up here, like $18 above where it left off. I like this is nice and close. This is more likely to have a nice blast off to the upside. We'll see what happens. All right, but I do like this launch pad being constructed. Again, price moves up over to the right and look for it to launch to the upside. So there's WDC on that one. All right, let's go take a look at SPY right now. All right, here we are with SPY on the daily chart. We got the sword, but the sword's in the right direction. All right, little gravestone looking like up there. We'll see what happens. I like it when the sword is pointed down. That means price comes down and back up that way. All right, so SPY on the daily. Hope that's not the top. Hope that's not the top. I don't think that's the top. I think it's looking good. Anyways, there's SPY. New all-time high. Okay, can't get any better than that. Beautiful. Okay, for SPY on the daily chart. On the weekly chart, again, definite uptrend. New all-time high. It's a new all-time high on the daily chart. It is on the weekly and the monthly as well. Monthly in a nice uptrend. Let's look at the 2 hour. 2 hour got an uptrend into the close. 10-minute got a nice uptrend. I'll be looking for continuation of that 10-minute uptrend. All right, as we commence the morning. All right, so there's 10-minute uptrend, 2 hour uptrend, daily uptrend. See all the green dots? Love that uptrend. All right, so what do I like? All right, I'm going to go over it one more time, okay? And I'll probably go over it another 50 times. I like a 10-minute uptrend. That means on the 10-minute chart, the 3 is on top of the 8. All right? Price is on top of the 3 is on top of the 8, and the 3 and the 8 and the price are all up over VWAP. All right? I also like it when the 17's up there too, but 17's a little bit, drags a little bit behind the other 3, okay? That'd be price, the 3 and the 8, okay? I like it when they're all up over VWAP on the 10-minute chart, okay? 3 on top of, price on top of the 3, 3 on top of the 8, price 3 and 8 all above the brown line regular VWAP right there. That's what I like. And I like it when that construction or that build out right there, okay, is in a 2-hour uptrend. And that 2-hour uptrend is also in a daily uptrend. And that daily uptrend is also in a weekly uptrend. And that weekly uptrend is all inside a monthly uptrend. Usually you don't get all that. You don't usually get all of the time frames working for you. There's usually one that's not working for you. So you're in a very rare opportunity right now, okay, where everything is working at the same time, okay? After we reach the all-time highs, you're not going to see it probably for a long time, maybe 2 or 3 years, all right, before you see all of these working in the same, all right, all working each one inside of the other. Might be a long time, so you're in for a treat, all right, because that's what we're getting right now is that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside the 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, that's inside the weekly, that's inside the monthly. That's my favorite trade. I like that trade. Add a trend day to it, and it just gets better than that. All right? Love that. Got a trend day, and you got that 2-hour uptrend. Love that. Okay, so yesterday, how did we make any money? Well, let's take out the pre and post market and pull up the 10-minute chart. Okay, so yesterday, we had a little 10-minute uptrend, rip up here from the open. We had leftover shares from the previous day's uptrend. So we sold off into the rally. Then we had a 10-minute downtrend right here back to the minor support. Okay, 10-minute downtrend back to minor support. And then we J-hooked off of the minor support. That would be where we closed the previous day. And we went back up to VWAP with another 10-minute uptrend returning back to VWAP. Okay, that's a normal price action. I love it when price moves up, pulls back to minor support, and then J-hooks off of it and makes a new high. All right? That's what I'm looking for to happen. I'm looking for a price to J-hook off of minor support and then rip up and make a new high. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, again, I'm looking for a continuation of the same 10-minute trend we left off with yesterday. So I don't want any topping wick candles, okay? That's a candle with way more wick than body and tail. All right? So I don't want any topping wick candles. See that? See this candle right here? Way more wick than body and tail. That doesn't fit my needs. All right? That candle right here doesn't fit my needs, okay? I don't want any spinning tops like this. I don't want any squat little dojis like this, all right? I don't want any red candles, okay? I don't like spinning tops and dojis because that means bulls and bears agree on the price, okay? I don't want any red candles because, heck, I'm buying an uptrend. I certainly don't want to be buying a candle where the bears are in charge, right? So I don't want to buy anything that's either neutral, all right, or the bears have control. All right, that's what I'm looking for. Nice green candle. I want there to be very little wick on it, all right, or at least the body and tail to overcome all of the wick up there. Really like to see no topping wick at all, but can't always get that, all right? So I'm looking for 10-minute uptrend, a continuation of our 10-minute uptrend from yesterday. Hey, we made a higher low right here. Okay, so I would expect when we make that higher low, the bulls to be inspired to go re-challenge the prior high. All right, so that's what I'm looking for, is a test of the prior high. All right, so that's what we're looking for this morning, a test of the prior high. So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. You want to see the game plan? Let's back out of here and let's visit the game plan. All right, here we go. All right, again, SPY pivot, 644.35. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Green erases red entry over 645.90. Okay, that would be yesterday's high. Red erases green entry underneath 642.65. Underneath yesterday's low. In other words, if minor support fails us again, all right, I would be looking for price to come down to, the top of this bearish engulfing move right there. So whatever that is, 639.78. Okay, so there's the SPY game plan. I like 1 day till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5 that are $3 to $15 out of the money. I like 8 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5 that are $3 to $15 out of the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that are breaking away from VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends that are under VWAP and breaking down and away from VWAP. I like 10-minute uptrends if they happen to manifest down here, okay, long before we get to the green erases red entry up here, okay, if they happen to manifest down here or maybe in here or maybe just over SPY pivot but not quite green erases red, okay, if they've broken their 10-minute rubber band candle, all right, I am interested in trading those to the upside. Same thing goes for the red ones for 10-minute downtrends if they happen to manifest, okay, up here or up here or up here, long before we get to the red erases green entry, okay, which is 642.65, okay, if they happen to manifest and they break the red rubber band candle, and they're under VWAP, I'd be highly interested in trading those to the downside, all right? Just stating that doesn't mean I can't take a trade because they're not doing everything that I had designed, have designed in my mind for my perfect trade. They might not be a perfect trade, but they might be a pullback to a specific zone, support area, or a resistance area. Okay, so there's SPY game plan. QQQ's got a game plan too. All right, QQQ game plan, again, same options, all right? 1 day till expiration, Friday options on the multiple of 5, $3 to $15 out of the money. QQQ, same deal. 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. We like them both, okay? On the red erases green underneath, 575.85. That should be down here. Yeah, 578.85 is actually right here. They move this stuff around on me. I don't know why they do that. QQQ pivot. All right, QQQ pivot is 580.60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Green erases red entry over 583. Red erases green entry underneath 578.85. Okay. Again, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP that break the rubber band candle, and 10-minute uptrends over VWAP that break the rubber band candle. Okay, so there's QQQ game plan. Let's take a look at QQQ on the daily chart. We'll pick up a different one here. Again, new all-time high. Okay, doesn't get any better than that. Let's take a look at IWM. All right, IWM. This is the April low. See that big valley? Okay, this is a new rally high. We're closing up here in quadrant 4 that's bullish, and we're in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow up here is higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. Okay, they got themselves in a downtrend, all right, by taking out this low. Okay, so they got themselves in a downtrend by taking out that low. So now they got to take out this high. All right, so They're in a downtrend that's not working. And remember, they're up here quadrant 4, consolidating. Again, anytime you see consolidation like this over prior consolidation, that is a bullish environment. That is a bullish behavior. That is a bullish outlook. All right? So you got to move up, launch pad, look for this to launch to the upside. There's Diamond Dow. Okay? Let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, FNGU, still no new all-time high, but we are ever so close to challenging that all-time high made there about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Again, downtrend that's not moving down, okay? Downtrend that's not working, all right? In other words, they're in a downtrend because they got below these 17s, all right? But they're not moving down, they're moving up. Higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap over the 17. Those are both bullish. Up at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right. Again, in a downtrend that's not working. All right. Let's take a look at our technicals. T2122. That's not the one. This is the one. All right. T2122. After drinking all of the bear's wine. All right. Went up here in a Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Baby Bears section, and we spent the day in the overbought zone. Okay, up here in T2122. Another bullish move. Okay, remember we got hooked by the bulls? Went airborne like a rodeo clown all the way into the buy zone. Okay, so that's bullish. See that? T2122. I was wondering if the bulls were going to come and rescue the day, because we were in this downtrend for about over a week here in this downtrend where price and momentum were definitely sliding, making lower highs and lower lows day after day after day. Okay, T2123, bullish gap up. Bears never filled it. Bears never even tried. I gotta say, bears never even showed up. All right, green from the beginning to the end of the day. Okay, so there's T2123 on the 15. No longer in a downtrend, it's in an uptrend. There's a high. We made a higher high. Up over the 200 SMA. I like that. Okay, even took out this bearish gap right here. Love that. Okay, now we got to go back up here and take out that high. All right, T2123. Here's a 3-bar chart of the same product. Again, price action. Got a low. Higher low, even a higher low. Got a high, high, higher high. So they're still in an uptrend. They're up over the 200 SMA. They're up here in quadrant 4, so they're bullish. And they're still in an uptrend. This is what they're dealing with, is this area right over here. Okay, they're dealing with this consolidation. Okay, so we got right here, right here. See these two peaks, this valley and this low, all right? See how they came down and they tested the valley, see, down at the low right here, all right? And they're dealing, look at the high, I'm going to put the crosshairs on it, and you can see they're dealing with these two peaks up there. You can see where price, see where I put the crosshairs up on it, and you just slide over to the left over here. And you can see we were dealing with these two peaks up here. Okay, now keep in mind, look at this price action. It took about 2 months to build out this consolidation. Okay, we're not going to cut through it in one 4-hour candle. It's going to take us a little while, maybe a month, to cut through 2 months of work over here. Okay, so right now we're showing a bearish head and shoulders with this hump, or this peak right here being the head, right shoulder, left shoulder, okay? If price goes up and decapitates the head, they will nullify the bearish head and shoulders pattern, okay? That's what we're looking for to happen. Okay, once we get over these peaks right here, all we got left is the all-time high, all right? And I think they put in a new all-time high, especially with inflation lingering. All right, I see more price increase. We got tariffs on the way, or are already implemented. So we could see higher prices soon. Higher prices usually transcends into higher profits, which transcends into higher earnings. Higher earnings usually give a better price for the securities. All right, we'll see what happens. T21.23, okay? Still up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, let's take a look at FNGU on the 15. FNGU did not help us yesterday, okay? But I'm going to say T21.23 definitely did. Okay, FNGU mostly selling all day. Okay, they gapped up, bears filled the gap, and you can see it was just the selling all day long. All right, not harsh selling. It kind of like they pulled the rug out and just let it free fall. Okay, they're still up over the 200 SMA. They're still up there in this bullish consolidation. Again, you can see price moved up and over to the right. Okay, we had a failure right up here. We had a failure to break down here. So we're back up here again to test the high. Okay, hopefully we don't fail again and come back down here and test the low. All right, we'll see what they got. All right, price action still up there in that upper quadrant, I believe. We need to measure that to make sure. So let's take the quadrant lines, and from this low up to this high, we need to see where they're at. Still up in quadrant 4, from this low to this high. That is a bullish outlook. Anytime you're in the upper third, okay, that is a bullish outlook. Okay, as long as they stay out of this lower third, they can even wander into the neutral zone. I'm fine with that, but they need to recover the bullish area. Okay, so still bullish up here. Okay, that's FNGU. All right, so you can see FNGU didn't help us much, but you saw T21.23. That was green, bullish gap up. You know, didn't even get filled by the bears. I don't even think the bears showed up yesterday. Beautiful day yesterday for T21.23. Okay, FNGU, the bears were there somewhat. All right, let's go take a look at the economic calendar, and then we'll open up the markets here. We already got a game plan, and I'll review it one more time. Let's take a look at the economics. Okay, yesterday, nice day yesterday. 48K on a 150K account. Here's my tracking right there. Started this account with 27K, built it up to, I'm just going to, it says 197, I'm going to call it 200K. All right, so started it with 27K on August 4th, and we're already up to 200K. Like to 10x this thing, got to get up to 270,000, and then I can 10x this account. All right, like to get that done before 30 days. All right, there's that. There's this. Let's start with the dollar. Okay, here's the dollars in an uptrend because we got a higher low and a higher high, so we're in an uptrend. All in all, from the bigger picture, okay, we got to move down and over to the right. Okay, so right now we're in a bear flag. In that bear flag, we have ourselves a little mini uptrend that's happening right now, okay, making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, price action is in an uptrend, but right now, recently, in the last 10 days, it's not really moving up, it's moving down. Okay, if they break this low, they'll break the uptrend. All right, they'll negate the uptrend and reconvert the downtrend. All right, so there's price action on the dollar. Okay, so the dollar's in a bear flag, is in a little mini uptrend inside that bear flag. Max pain for today, 642. That's for the SPY options that expire today. We got about 1 1/3 puts for each call that expires today. Not much of a put squeeze on the table there. Earnings report. Cisco reported last night. I heard the market didn't like it. Today we got AMAT, that's Applied Materials tonight. Okay, 151 billion. John Deere reports this morning, 136 billion. Again, some more familiar names, but nothing that's really going to move the markets probably just make an effect on their sector. Okay, on Friday, what do we got? Nothing but familiar names. Nothing here that's really going to move the markets or their sectors right there. Okay, so light week as far as earnings go, wherever they want to take it, and it looks like they want to take it higher. There's nothing to stand in their way. All right, on the economic calendar, today we got jobless claims at 8:30. Thank you, Alan, for sharing. All right, PPI final demand comes out at 8:30. Natural gas report at 10:30, and that's it. Okay, I don't think any of this is going to be out of line. All right, so we'll see. All right, but I can't expect any of this to be out of line. It looks like they want to move it up, and I think they're going up. All right, regardless of what anything says through here. We'll see what happens. Tomorrow, retail sales, 8:30. Empire State Manufacturing Index, 8:30. Import-export prices, 8:30. Industrial production, 9:15. Business inventories, 10 o'clock. Consumer sentiment, 10 o'clock. Rig count at 1 o'clock. I think some of those are new. I don't remember seeing those earlier in the week. All right, but irregardless, some more data coming out Friday. POTUS is speaking at 1 today. Thank you, Jim S. All right. So that's it for me. Let's go take a look at SPY. Let's take a look at it with the pre-market on there. Let's come on over to the pre-market, post-market. Make sure I got the right one. Just before game plan. That's the one I want. Okay. Market didn't like that. Let's go take a look at SPY. All right. So this is the pre-market. Got a big red candle. Let's wait. See where they close it. They could wind up all the way back up here, you know, on that 5-minute candle. Okay, so we got to move to the downside. All right, so we're going to mark off the overnight range. All right, here's the high. Okay, and then we'll see where they mark off the lows here. So far, we got a low down here. All right, and then we'll mark off the first 15 minutes. Okay, the first 15 minutes in here. Whoever breaks that 15-minute box, all right, the first 15 minutes, that's the one we're going to go with. Keep in mind, all right, if that box is up here and you hit gap fill, you're likely to see a bounce back to the top of the box. Okay, if they open up here and that 15 minutes is up there. Okay, if they're down here, okay, and that 15-minute box is right here, they're liable to hit prior day's close and then bounce back to the top of the box and then look for it to H pattern rollover after that. All right, so that's it for me for this morning. Same thing on SPY and QQQ. We'll see what happens here, okay? Looks like we got the sword yesterday on the daily chart. Okay, so see the sword. All right, so not liking the sword. All right, thought the sword was in the right direction. Not liking the sword. Let's see what happens. All right, the day's just begun, so we'll see what happens here. All right, I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. I'll record today's opening and probably record today's action again, and we'll go through it time after time here. All right. Oh, volatility stop. Alpha Dog asked me about how to change the colors. All right, so on the volatility stop, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to change the color of VWAP. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, it's not going to be on there. Okay, Alpha Dog asked me how to change the colors. All right, so let's go with this area right here. Okay, so let's say you want to change the color of VWAP from blue and red. So when price is underneath it, it's red. When price is above it, it's blue. All right, so let's change this VWAP here. We create another volatility stop, add to chart, indicator. I'm going to put volatility stop. I can find it right there. Okay. And the source, we're going to change the source to be VWAP. All right. And true range is going to be 10. And this is going to be 0.1. All right. And we're going to change the up to blue. And we're going to change it from the up's going to be blue and the down's going to be red. Okay, the up is blue, the down is red. And what do I want here? I want this to be, instead of dots, well, it's going to be dots for right now. And we'll change this to a line. Let's see what happens if I change volatility, edit, change this to let's see what we got here. Change that to white, and let's change this to a line. A line. And line width. Okay. Let's just see what that looks like. Okay, so it's blue when price is up above it, and it's red when price is underneath it. Okay. Wish I could have changed that to a line, but that's the way that volatility stop is set up. All right, right there, blue above and below, like that. All right, you see how you take the volatility stop right here, you change this to 10 and change this to 0.1, and now it's blue for above and red for underneath right there. All right, that's it for me today, traders. Okay, I'll see you guys in about 35 minutes.